So next week we are having the Icast for 2022, and in my opinion, I think Shimano is going to be releasing a quote-unquote new Curado DC. So in this video we're going to have like a short preview of some of the publicly released rods and reels, and we're going to kind of take a look at what I believe is a new Curado DC. So we're going to start out here at the Bassmaster website, and for those of you who don't know, every year they have some kind of a little preview article where they show you some of the rods and reels that are going to be released, as well as baits, etc, etc. So let's take a look at this right here, and according to this, it is a REVO X low profile combo. So if you go on Tackle Warehouse, I believe all the current Revos are being clearanced out, including the X. So this might be the new X, and just by looking at the shape, looks like they're going with a longer, more narrower profile than the current square Revo lineup. And it looks like it's two-tone, but for more details on the Revo X, we're probably going to have to wait until Icast. So it looks like KASTKING, which is a rod company, is coming out with I guess a couple of bait finesse rods, which is awesome. If anyone from KASTKING is watching this video and would like to send me one of these rods or both of these rods to test out, just shoot me an email. Okay, spinning, we're not interested in that. Fenwick Elite Bass casting rod, looks okay. Alright, check this out. The Guggen Squad is coming out with a new top of the line rod lineup. It's called the Black Series rod, and they are starting out at $299.99, so $300. So that's a bold move by Catchco and the Guggen Squad, because at that price point, I think you are literally right in competition with Shimano's super popular X Pride. Okay, so here's a cool looking spinning rod from Halo. Okay, more rods. More rods. And there's the X Pride B. Looks like they're adding some models to the current lineup. Did the X Prides go up in price? Because it's saying $389 to $419. I'll have to check on that. Alright, check this out. This looks like a little, well, when you look at this handle, it looks like it's a one-handed BFS trout rod, and with a 4'6" length, that kind of somewhat confirms it, but they're saying it's available in medium heavy and medium powers. So wow, but this is from Kistler and they're $150. So with medium heavy and medium powers, definitely not bait finesse. Yeah, check this out. It looks like a rifle, the St. Croix Legend Tournament Bass Series. Wow, look at that. Look at that trigger. Okay, 13 Fishing, no big surprise. They're coming out with the new lineup of rods. I guess this is the Gerald Swindle series. Okay, Garcia is coming out with some new spinning reels. Looks like new designs, kind of meant to mimic their top of the line Xenon. There's the Rocket. Kistler Chromium reel. If you take a look at this and you're familiar with buying reels from AliExpress, you'll know this is an OEM, either Doyo or some kind of a Chinese OEM is making this reel. Nothing wrong with that, but wow, $299. But check this out. It says built to handle various lines, especially lightweight BFS lures, without compromising power to handle the toughest conditions. So you can't really see, but this spool is pretty shallow. So this is like apparently a bait finesse rule from Kistler, but at this price it's gonna be a tough sell considering the current Aldebaran BFS can be had for cheaper than that, but hopefully it'll sell. If they're interested in sending me one to test, I'll be glad to do it. Okay, a LEWS spinning reel. Alright, check this out. Remember the Doyo Koba Elite video, and I predicted that it's probably going to come here in America in the form of a LEWS. Well, here it is, and check this out. This thing looks devastating. Wow. Team LEWS Elite TI SLP casting reel. So it looks like instead of like a silvery paint job, these are titanium nitride coated sides and maybe the frame itself. It's kind of got this dark chrome finish, but with the gold trim. That looks badass. And they're going with, I guess, the LEWS wind grip instead of those funky Doyo knobs. But check this out, $499.99. So LEWS is trying to challenge the biggest of the big dogs at that price. And yeah, if LEWS would like to send me one of these to do a couple of video reviews on, then I'd be happy to do it. Okay, new DAIWA exists. Everyone knows about that already. Now check this out. It was only a matter of time since the Guggen squad is pretty much coming out with products in every available category in fishing. Lures, of course, tackle, shirts, bags, rods, and they finally came out with a reel. It's called the Guggen Squad Gold Series casting reel. Now this looks like a CGI composite image, but yeah, I don't think I'm gonna like it, but we'll have to wait until we actually see the product in the metal. From what we can see, it's a super deep spool with a lot of parallel porting in the middle, and just looking at these components, it looks like a Banax product to me. But at $189.99, you were competing with the Shimano Curado K, so we'll just have to see what the specs are on this reel. Okay, the new BANTAM A, everyone knows about that. The new STELLA, everyone knows about that. 13 Fishing is coming out with the Inception G2. Looks good. They're kind of staying away from the bright colors. Looks like they got a new nut retainer design that looks pretty cool. 13 Fishing spinning. And I think that's it. Now we're getting into line. So you're probably wondering, where in the hell is this new Curado DC? Okay, so for that, we're gonna have to go to Shimano's corporate website. Then we're gonna click on regional sites. And it's only fitting that we go to Shimano Germany's webpage. And I say that because the current Curado DC was first listed on Shimano Germany's site. That's where people saw it, and that was long before they even announced it here in America. So we are here at Shimano Germany, and how come it's not translating? Okay, so we're gonna go to Baitcast. Alright, so let's check this out. So the BANTAM, ALDEBARAN, ANTARES, Curado BFS, both METANIUMs. There, Curado DC. Alright, we're going to open this up in a new window. And if you take a look at this, you're like, that's the current Curado DC. And it looks like you'd be right. So that means we're going to go back. Going to keep scrolling down. They're still selling the old Aldebaran BFS. Curado MGL, Curado K. They're still selling the old Curado I. Wow. SLX MGL. And look at this. The very last one. Curado DC 200. No picture available. So of course we're going to click on that. And it looks like they do have a couple of pictures. So that looks very much like the current Curado DC, but it looks to have a slightly darker tone to it. And of course the current Curado DC is a 150 size. So look at this picture, then we'll look at this picture, and this picture. So it's really hard to tell because the color looks so similar to the Curado DC 150. So is this just a mistake or a typo or some kind of error made by Shimano Germany? I don't think so, because let's compare the specifications here. And we're going to go to all these numbers. So look at the item code, CUDC200HG for the 200. And then for the 150, it's CUDC150. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the line capacities. And for the 150, I guess this looks like, I guess it's braid. It's saying 0.33 gauge braid. The current Curado 150 DC is going to hold 100 meters. So if you go over here to the 200, it's saying 0.3 gauge will hold 150 meters. So it's holding roughly 50 more meters of 0.3 gauge braid. Now the gear ratio of 8.5 to 1 shows a line retrieval of 93 centimeters per turn, while on the 150 the 8.5 to 1 is 91 centimeters. So I predict that the Curado 200 DC is probably going to have a 35 millimeter spool at least, which is up from the 34 millimeter spool of the current Curado DC, or maybe even 36. And that's because they can't make the current spool any deeper because of the DC unit that is housed right in the middle of the spool. So the only way to add line capacity is to make the spool taller, which I predict is going to be about 35 to 36 millimeters. But yeah, what do you guys think? I'm not sure how accurate these pictures are because it looks pretty much the same. Maybe it's just that these pictures here are darker. I don't see any kind of number designation. Oh yeah, 200 right here. It says 200 HG right here. So there's our confirmation. I mean, maybe the color scheme for the body is just slightly different, but they should have made it an entirely different color, like bright silver or something, to differentiate it from the 150. So if we look at the pictures of the current 150, that's not the 150. But anyway, yeah, right here, you guys probably can't see, but it says 150 HG. So it looks like we are indeed going to be getting a bigger capacity Shimano Curado DC, which is probably going to be great for you guys that use heavy braid, especially if you're frogging, because if you use braid, you can actually access that #1 extreme distance setting on the Curado DC and literally almost cast all the line off of it. So there we go, guys. Pretty sure this is going to be announced here at Icast next week, and Let me know in the comments if you plan on getting one of these, if you love your 150 Curado DC so much but you needed more line capacity, that you plan on getting this Curado 200. Alright guys, thanks a lot.